Hello everyone. Hope you all are doing well. Today I am going to cover scripted REST API. Agenda. Our agenda is why we use scripted REST API, the difference between scripted and direct REST API, lab exercise on scripted REST API. Okay, let's see why we use scripted REST API. Why we use scripted REST API? So we create scripted REST API in our instance and give this scripted REST API to the third-party tool so that they will consume the scripted REST API and with the help of this API, they will create a ticket or get the details of the ticket from our instance. The same thing we can use like with direct API also. Okay. For example, if I go to the REST messages or REST, if I type REST and REST API Explorer, table API, latest versions like this API is the direct API. Okay, get this is the get or post or anything. This is the direct API. Just you need to change the table name and give it to the third party tools so that they will use this API and they will send the transactions or get the transactions from our instance. Okay, we can give this direct API also, but the main difference is, for example, if you give this direct API, what happens? If they consume and they create a record, directly it will create into the our instance without filtering the data. Okay. What happens with the scripted REST API? So if you created a scripted REST API so that you can filter the incoming data and you can create a particular record or update the record based upon the incoming data. Here we cannot filter the incoming data. This is directly inserted into our target table. Okay, so that is the main difference between the direct API and scripted REST API. Now let's see how to create a scripted REST API and how the third party consumes the scripted REST API and sends the data to our instance. Let's see. So now go to scripted REST API. There, REST API. So these are the out-of-the-box scripted REST API. Now we will create our own scripted REST API so that we can share to our third-party vendors or any other vendors. Okay, let's create a new scripted REST API. Okay, click on New. Name. You can give any name. For example, I will give like uh, incident. Okay, create. Let me create a scripted REST API to create incident. Okay, create incident in the my or create incident in my scripted REST API name. Okay, the API ID it will automatically fetch from the name. Okay, and the API namespace it is directly it will when you are creating the new it will directly create a namespace also. Okay, so now submit or save. Okay, so now that in the scripted services, we created the name of the API. So this is the base API path. Okay, this is the base API path. Okay, and here in the security ACLs, it is automatically created as scripted REST external default ACLs are created. Okay, content negotiations. Okay, so what type of contents you can allow for the incoming data. Okay, or what kind of content you are sending as a response to a third party. So, okay, by default, it is having like application JSON or application mm, XML or test. Okay, so these are the default content types. Okay, all this can be supported. But if you want to override default supported request format, you can click on this one and you can allow only application JSON. For example, if you want to allow only application JSON, you can remove the rest of the things. Okay. And if you want to allow only application XML, if you can remove the rest of the things and add application XML. So in these three formats, you can give any one of the to the third party tool. Or if you add three like this, so third party can send the data in a JSON format or XML format or plain text format. So that depends upon you, okay? Like how you want the data from the third party. Okay, I will not enable for now anything. Like I will leave it like okay. In the documentation tab, like short description, you can view what it is. Like it allows, for example, it create incident. Okay, if you have any documentation link, if you prepare any documentation, you can add the documentation link also here. Okay, so now save it. Okay, so under this script REST service, so you have three tabs called resources, request headers, or query parameters. So under resources, so you need to give so what users needs to create like they want to post the record or put the record or what are the HTTP methods they can use. So for example, if you want a third party to only post the record, you will need to give only post method access. Okay. So if they can use only get, you need to give the get method access. Okay. Let's see how to give those methods. Okay. Click on new. Here name, you can give like whatever the method name you want to give. Like for example, I will give a post method. Okay, name of the I will give a post method. Okay, POST post. So in the HTTP methods, you need to select post. So you are trying to give the create an incident. Okay. So in the relative path, you can add like post or something like that. Whatever you like. Okay. That's not a mandatory thing like post or something like that, but you can give any name. So I am giving it post. Okay. Here in the script, okay, whenever they send the data, okay, you will get all the data in the request. Okay. To get the data from the third party, okay, whatever they are sending, so we need to use the request parameter. Okay. So, for example, I will store this request data in a variable called inc or something. Okay, inc is equal to request request dot body dot data. So I will store all this information. Okay, into inc. Okay. Now, whatever they're sending the parameters, like for example, this needs to be agreed between the third party tool and your team. Okay. So how they are sending the data, in which parameters? For example, they are sending numbers. Okay. Any number or like collision ID or anything. For example, if they are sending ID. Okay. Like okay, for example, they are sending the id, so how you will review that id and use that id value. Okay. For now I will store in the log. Okay, I'm getting this id or not. Okay, for example, how I will get inc if they are sending value in ID, small letter ID. So we need to use like this, inc.id. Okay, and let me REST API. Okay, as a source. Let's see. We will get in the log part. Okay. So first we will test it. We are getting the data or not. Then based upon the data, we will create an incident. Okay. Later on. Okay. Now let's see. So our scripted REST API is ready. So we need to give this scripted REST API to the third-party tool to consume. Okay. And this requires authentication checkbox is checked. Okay, so you need to give the user credentials also. Okay, so that with the help of the user credentials, they can uh, authenticate. Okay, this scripted REST API. So for that, you need to create a user details. Okay, for example, go to the users, organization users. Okay, so I already created a user called REST API user. Okay, REST underscore API. Okay, for this I have given the REST API Explorer roles. Okay, let me set a password for this user. Generate automatic password. Copy this password. Okay, and save password. Okay, you should not allow password need to reset. Okay, and now save it. Let's log out and log in with that user. Let's see if I can able to log in or not. Okay, log out. REST underscore API and password. Okay, log in. Yes, I can log in. Okay, I can log in now. Again, log out and log in back as an admin user. Okay, log in back as admin user. So now go to scripted REST messages API. Let's see here, API REST messages REST APIs. Okay, such the create incident which you create incident. Okay, now we need to share the endpoint to our third party. Okay, like to our third party vendors or third party tools. Okay, so how you will share the API? So the base API path you need to share. Okay, this is the base API path. So we need to append the instance URL before this API path. Okay, copy this one and paste here. Okay, and remove extra slash. Okay, copy this API. Okay, this is the scripted REST API. Okay, copy this one and share to the third party. So we don't have any third party. So I have one more another instance and the ServiceNow instance. Let's log into that instance and consume this API. Let's see. Log into the instance. Yeah. Now, how do you consume the third-party API? So go to the REST messages, REST message. Okay, click on new. Here, you can give any name. I mean, third-party tools, they can give any name. Like, for example, incident or something like that, they will give. Okay, paste here. Okay, and accessible from this application scope or any application scope or all application scope. Okay, anything. Okay, authentication. So what type of authentications we gave? There are two types, like basic and OAuth 2.0. Okay, let's see about the basic authentication. And in upcoming classes, I will explain you how to use OAuth authentication also. Okay, let's see basic authentication. So they provided us user. Okay, that is a REST user. Okay, so I already created this profile in this instance. We can see. Let me open this profile. Okay, now nothing, name anything you can give it. Okay, and username REST underscore API and password I have given. Okay, so the one which we created. Okay, and HTTPS request, nothing is required now. Okay, and save it and save it. So now there is a default get method is created. Now open this default get and rename to post. Okay, post HTTPS method post. We created a post method. What is the name of the method? Like post we created, right? Go to the our instance here. We created the post. You can see the API slash post. Okay, add this slash post. Okay, and in authentications, it is inherited from parent and HTTP request. We need to add the content type. Which content type the third party is sending? Okay, like content, uh, content type, content hyphen content type, and value is like application or application JSON. Okay, now you need to give the content. Okay, in the JSON format. Okay, this is the JSON format. Now, what is the term we are using now? We created a in the scripted REST API. We use ID as a parameter, right? ID as a parameter. Now we will send ID from the third party instance. Okay, ID colon some value like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5. Okay, we created it. Okay, let's save it and test it. Okay, let's save it and test it. So there is 200. Response is nothing. We are not getting any response because we did not add the response. Okay, in our scripted test API. Okay, so go to here. Uh, so it triggered it 200 response we got. Okay, that means uh, we got the ID and it should be in log. Okay, for the initial step, we are testing this one. Okay, now go to the logs. Let's see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 value is there or not in the logs. Okay, go to the logs. All logs. All logs. Here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 value comes and here the REST API. Okay, the source is REST API. So we are getting the data. Okay, so the scripted REST API is working fine. Okay, now the third party will send the data to create the incident. Okay, let's with the help of the data, how can we create the incident in our instance? Let's see. Okay, we will create an incident. Okay, we will create an incident where, okay, for example, INC in C. Okay, or we use the INC there, so that's the reason where new right which table incident. Okay, now inci dot add inc right add which field correlation ID correlation Let's see the correlation ID. So we will store the unique value in the correlation ID. Okay, incident, or let's see the field name of the correlation ID. What is the field name? Okay, let's open any incident. So here on the form we don't have. Let's add correlation ID on the form. Okay, form layout. We can do it from design also. Add correlation ID to the form and save it. We will treat as this is the correlation ID form, which is a unique queue number. So based upon this number, this correlation ID, we will create incident or update incident. Okay. Uh, Show correlation ID, copy the field value, go to here, add. Okay. Let's assume this correlation ID is coming as ID. Okay, from there. Okay, ID nci dot query. If inci dot next, it is there, then we will update the incident. Else, we will create the incident. Okay, let's see how to update and how to create the code. Okay, before we will see the mandatory fields. Okay, on the incident. Okay, so what are the mandatory fields we have caller is a mandatory and short description is a mandatory field. Okay, and assignment group is also a mandatory field. Let's see. Okay, inci dot caller is equal to what we need to map. If the field is correct, caller underscore id. Okay, caller underscore id equal to. So this is the we will add caller ID as an integration user. So this is like default. Okay, default user. Okay, this is the default user. So what is the default user we have? We can use this other users. Okay, users. Uh, For example, Snow user one is the default user. Okay, copy the sys ID. Okay, copy sys ID Snow user one. Okay, this is not a recommended way to add sys IDs directly in the code. To test it, I am adding. So you need to create a property. So from the property, you need to call the caller ID. Okay, so this is not a recommended way. Okay, not a recommended way. Uh, Not a recommended way to use or code value in script. Okay. Inc dot short description. Let's see short description. Okay, copy this. Okay, is equal to sorry here inc I need to add. Okay, now in the request body, let's assume that the same field is sending as short underscore description. Okay, inci dot um, description 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 is equal to same thing inc dot description description. Okay, inci dot assignment group. Let's see the name of the assignment group. Okay, so and okay, so they don't know our assignment group. Third party don't know our assignment group. So we will add hardcode values. So or based upon the short description or the category or whatever they are sending, we can map assignment group particularly. But for now, we will add assignment group SysID. But this is also not a recommended value. Okay, not a recommended. Not a recommended. Okay, let's add get an this idea of the assignment group. For example, uh, same. Okay, we will use the same this ID. Open the record, copy the this ID, and paste it. Okay, then uh, then short description. Okay, that's it. Okay, let's see. inc dot inca dot comments we will add is equal to okay uh, inc dot comments. Okay, let's see. Now inci dot update. We are updating the incident. If we find same correlation ID. If not, we will create the incident. So if not, we will create the incident. Inci dot uh, initialize is the parameter to create. Okay, and let's copy the same. Okay, same thing. And inci dot insert. Okay, so we will create, but so based upon the correlation ID, we will create the incident or update the incident. So here in the insert, we need to add one more thing called inci dot correlation ID. Also, we need to add, right? Copy this one. While creating the incident, we need to uh, update correlation ID. If not, inc dot id. Okay. So, based upon the correlation ID, we are updating the incident or creating the incident. Okay. Now, the third party, they need to know the response, right? So it is updated or inserted. Or if inserted, what is the incident number? So how do we send the response if the incident is created in our instance or not? Okay. So let's see how to create the response. Now, at the initial, we will create where um, response body as a parameter, as an array. We need to send in an array of JSON part. Okay. So now we need to use this response body parameter. Okay. Dot like for example message. Okay. We are sending the message as okay. Incident is created. Okay. Okay, this message we will add same here in the update also. Incident is okay, and then the response body dot. For example, if we create an incident, they need to know the incident number, right? So number num pr number is equal to inci dot num pr number. We will say. Okay. While updating, we will send only incident is updated. While creating, we will send incident is created and incident number. Okay. This response body we need to uh, set in response. Okay. Response dot set body. Set body which body? This one, response body we are seeing. Okay, okay, this thing. The response body we will get, and we will send this response to the third party tool. Let's save it. Now go to the third. Let's send the data. Okay, in the JSON format. Now ID, we are sending ID. Okay, some 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, comma. What is the other value? Short description. That's what. Let's copy the value from there. Uh, let's copy the short description value. Short description. What is the value we are sending? Test incident. Now, what is another value? Description. Okay, let's add description. Okay. What is the value? Test incident description. Anything we can add. Okay, for testing, I'm adding like this. Okay, next comments. Okay, what is the comment? Add test comment. Something like that we can add, and we will close up braces and save it. Okay, now test it. Test it, and it will wait for few seconds, and then we will get a result called 200. Okay, what is the message? Incident is created and number is this one. Let's see in that incident. Okay, in the other our instance. Okay, go to the our instance and search the incident which it is created. Now you can see the snow user one. We gave the hard-coded value, and the assignment group is already populated. Short description, test incident description, test incident description. Okay, correlation ID is populated, and the note section you can see add test comment. For example, now with the same correlation ID, okay, with the same correlation ID, we will try to update. For example, add test comment one, 1111 something. We will add it and save it. Now we will see the incident is updated or not. Okay, let's test it. Test. Now you can see incident is updated. Incident is updated. Okay. Okay. Now we can go back and see that add test comment is updated. So now the incident is created and updated, okay, with the help of scripted REST API. Okay, so now in the scripted REST API, you can filter the data. For example, based upon the short description or description, if you want to set category or subcategory, you can filter. You can add those kind of logics. But in the direct API, you cannot add the logic. Okay, it directly create the incident without the logic. Okay, whatever they are sending, it will create the incident. That's it. It will not just check. It will not check the data. What is the incoming data is right or wrong or anything like that. Okay, with the help of scripted REST API, you can control the incoming data. So that's the reason we use mostly scripted REST API than the REST API. Okay, I hope you understand. Okay. Please do subscribe to get alerts for upcoming videos. Hope you will enjoy and learn ServiceNow. Thank you very much for your time.